All right, Coach. So we've got to get into what a lot of us want to hear about, and that's Goose Crowder. We've heard, we always watch film. Film looks phenomenal. We've heard just such high praise for him in all aspects, but we want to hear it
Yeah.
straight from his coach. What kind of player he is, what kind of leader he is. So just tell us all about Goose and what Mountaineer fans can expect.
Well, first of all, he comes from a great family. He's the baby of three. His older brother just finished playing linebacker at Eastern Kentucky, and then he had the middle brother played at a small school in Kentucky in a center college, and then he's the baby, and but he's just such a mature acting kid. He's still a fun kid to be around. He still cuts up and laughs, but he wants to be good at the game. But he also wants to be what a quarterback is supposed to be for a program. He's the way he carries himself and the way he talks. He's very, very respectful, very almost humble to a fault. Where sometimes I want him to just be, hey, let's be arrogant for a few minutes. But he's very, very humble and very appreciative of the guys that play around him. And he's last year we had a pretty senior heavy group of receivers, and then we come back this year, and our experience on our team is kind of swapped to the backfield, the offensive line, and we're young at wide receiver. We're either young in experience or we're young in age, but he's just him being who he is has made them grow up and improve a little bit faster than what normally would have happened. And they're and he's I was looking at his stats. He's got impressive stats even without a receiver that is going to be recruited at the same level he is.
So what makes it? How's his arm strength? That's one thing, because we run. We're in the Big 12. We're slinging the ball around. How do you think he'll fit in the spread type of offense? And do y'all run that offense too?
Well, there's little parts of it. We're a little more. We're a one back team, but not. I wouldn't call a spread. He runs the ball some for us, but I'm scared to death on Friday night to get him hurt. So,
right.
We do a lot of it during the week at practice, and I'm scared on Friday nights to let him do it. And so there are some spread principles to our passing game. We're not a true spread team, but I think his arm is everything you look for in that. I mean, he can make any throw. He can throw from off the hash to the far sideline. And that's a pretty good throw in high school football to be able to make. And there's just throws that I count on one hand the bad throws he's made. And I think his arm strength is that's one thing that it takes our young receivers. That was one of the hard things they had adjusting to, was just the velocity of the ball.
Yeah, break your thumb, you're not careful.
Oh yeah. And every now and then, like, he'll come out during warm-ups and he'll at practice, and he'll want everyone to run a slant. He's going to throw it as hard as he can, and they gets to be a challenge of who can catch it. And and then he does his impersonations of everybody, of all the famous quarterbacks. So I'll hear him yell, who do you want to see? And I'll say Marino, and he does the Dan Marino drop back and throw. So he's a fun kid, but he shows up and he wants to. He's like having an offensive coordinator on the field. He shows up here on during when we're not in the pandemic, our normal routine. He comes in on Friday mornings early, and he sits in here and we kind of talk through the game plan. He and the offensive coordinator and I, we talk through everything and just his knowledge of it. And we listen to him more so than I've ever listened to any other quarterback.
You spoke there a little bit about his arm strength and a little bit about his athleticism, but I'm sitting here looking at his results from the opening. It was about a year and a half ago. He seems like he's fairly athletic. Which will be really good I think fits really well in with the Big 12, and you can add an arm and some athletic ability to get away. Maybe not as a runner, but as a scrambler, a get upfield for a few yards.
I think where he helps us the best. I mean, there are some called runs, but where he helps us the most is when he drops back and there's nothing there, and he scrambles with it, and he's a big quarterback, and he's so that's where a lot of his bigger runs come from, are not called runs. It's off of, hey, there's nothing there. And I've been impressed with him this year. I think he's improved a lot on his movement in the pocket. He's protected the ball and moved around and make little adjustments in the pocket, and he gets the ball out quicker than you see most of the time from high school kids.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we can't thank you enough for jumping on here, joining us, talking about Goose, talking about your program a little bit. We've actually been down in that area. We got an RV. We take to a lot of Mountaineer games, and we've been close to that area, but now we're going to slide in there.
Yeah,
now.
We're going to go there too.
Yeah, well, it's a good place to be, and it's been fun being here. And we're fortunate right now to, there's a lot. We've got a lot of kids who are getting a lot of attention, and one thing about Will, and I think has bled over to there's several younger kids who are getting a lot of attention with offers, and but I think just the way he's handled the recruiting process, he's been very professional about it, and it hasn't been his sole reason for playing high school football. He's his main focus is still being good for us, and I'll always appreciate that, because that carries over to the younger grades, and you want kids to get opportunities from high school football into college and get school paid for, but if you're not careful, it turns into a monster. And I think he's helped us avoid that part of it, and because we're fortunate to have several that will be highly recruited kids.
Good deal.
Absolutely, that's what you want to hear. Well, Coach, best of luck to you the rest of the season, and thank you again for jumping on with us.
Hey, thank you very much. Anytime, and I hope I can get up there one day and see my old quarterback win some games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye.